Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Change of Shift podcast, where nursing meets the internet. I am your host, Sean. The goal of this podcast is to solve problems, review topics, and share actionable information that encompasses the professional and personal lives of healthcare professionals and nurses. Please subscribe, download, and listen while we discuss current events, impactful stories, and invaluable lessons from the front lines of healthcare. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in for all my new listeners, and welcome back all of my dedicated fans. As I said before, I am your host, Sean. Let's get to it. Just like every other episode, we'll start with a previous episode recap. We are on episode 24. Bum, bum, bum. Last week's episode 23, was talking about New Year's resolutions. I gave 3 or maybe 5 suggestions on how to ensure New Year's resolution success. Talked a little bit about making your goals simple. Talked about relying on yourself and not the latest and greatest fitness gadget out there. You want to make your resolutions decisions. You're not going to have any more failures. You're only going to make adjustments. And you're no longer going to lose. You're just going to learn. Yeah, I jumped on the New Year's goal-setting bandwagon. Sorry. But it is that time of the year, and everyone seems to be interested in creating, setting, and achieving goals. So, hey, why not? This week's episode, titled 11 Reasons Why Nurses Make the Worst Patients. Yeah, 11. I had to make it 11. Couldn't just go with 10. Had to make it 11. Couldn't follow the norm. No. Had to be an oddball. You know me. So we're going to talk about 11 reasons why nurses make the worst patients. Not going to waste any time. We're just going to dive right into this pool here. 11 reasons. Number 1, we are needy. Holy cow, are we needy. We want this a certain way. We want that a certain way. We only take this bill with this thing and that thing. Turns into a bit of a dictatorship, wouldn't you say? For those who have cared for nurses in the past, you know what I'm talking about. Number 2, we judge every little thing. We become so judgmental. Over the littlest of things, too. For instance, being judgmental on the way that you tape the IV tubing to their hand or their wrist, or what gauge needle you used and what specific vein you used it on. You know, I really wish you'd have used my right arm instead of my left arm. We judge you on your time management. We judge you on your communication skills. We basically turn you into us in the back of our head, and we may even say it out loud. Hey, if I was taking care of me, I wouldn't do that. I didn't say it was right. I'm simply saying it exists. You know we do it. That's a great segue into my number 3 reason, which is we realize how horrible of a nurse we have been. All of a sudden, all of the little things and the nuances that we used to do to or for our patients is now being done to us. For instance, you're now the patient who is in severe pain and has rang their call bell 3 times because we haven't gotten our pain meds yet. Yeah, I know, very stereotypical of me, but it's the truth. But quite honestly, we start realizing, you know, all of the little things that patients complain about are rationalized appropriately in most cases. We not only become the judgmental patient, but now the next time that we actually have to do our jobs, we're going to be judging ourselves. I once said a long time ago, I think the best nurse is the nurse that has become a patient once, because then you know what you're dealing with. Number 4, we do not listen. We don't listen to anything our nurse tells us. We don't listen to anything that our doctor tells us. We don't listen to anything that the therapist tells us, because we know better. Ambulatory limitations? What are those? I'm going to get out of bed when I want to get out of bed. I'm going to go use the commode when I want to use the commode. You're not going to tell me if I'm going to be using the bedpan. Forget that. Does that sound familiar at all? Does any of this sound familiar? Number 6 reason why nurses make the worst patients is that we know who we don't want taking care of us, especially if I get admitted to the very same hospital where I work. Need I even explain this concept? There are certain members of the healthcare team that you do not want anywhere near you, your chart, or your care. Enough said. Number 7, we have become that patient. That patient that other nurses avoid during assignments. Hey, Jane, you're going to take care of so-and-so in so-and-so room number. Oh, no. Wait a minute. Isn't so-and-so that nurse that's sick? No. I'll go ahead and take the other 3 patients, including the Alzheimer patient who's crazy jumping out of bed, and the GI bleed that seems to be going every 10 minutes. I'll be happy to take those instead. Thank you very much. Okay. Number 8. We love students, but we really don't. We're all about teaching them. All about being the preceptor. Yeah, bring them on. Love teaching the newbies the tricks of the trade. But when the newbies have to learn by caring for you personally, it changes the game a bit. So, we love students, but maybe they could care for someone else. Sorry. Once again, I didn't say this was appropriate. I'm simply saying it exists. Number 9, why nurses make the worst patients. We are scared to death. We know too much. Ignorance is bliss. We know all of the horrible things that can or could happen while you're in the hospital or while you're under the care of so-and-so at so-and-so place. We know all about medical mistakes. We know all about performing surgeries on the wrong limbs. We know all about medication errors. Once again, we are scared to death. Number 10, and I think this is the reason, the only main reason why nurses make the worst patients is that we absolutely hate giving up control. You know it. All nurses out there, we're type A. We like having complete control over everything that we do. And now all of a sudden, you have to surrender your control because guess what? You have to depend on someone else. It's like cutting off a limb. It's the ultimate torture, making a type A person watch someone else do the job. Yes, we have codependency issues, meaning we don't like depending on anybody. And number 11, and this is just another kick in the teeth, humorous reason why nurses make the worst patients, is that we also make the worst family members. I mean, seriously? We're that family member. Anytime a family member gets ill, is admitted to the hospital, has this diagnosis, is prescribed this medication. How many times have we as nurses been asked to tag along with a family member when they're going to see a doctor, when they're going to a test? We're there as translators and we're there as compasses on figuring out which direction to go. There you have it. 11 reasons why nurses make the worst patients. Let me say once again, I didn't say that these reasons were appropriate. I didn't say these reasons were founded. I simply said that these reasons exist. Any nurse out there who has lived this life for more than a month will admit to 90% of these reasons. Find me a nurse that doesn't admit to these, and I'll find you a nurse that hasn't been doing it long enough. Seriously. Joking. Ha ha, funny. I am your host, Sean. This has been the Change of Shift podcast, where nursing meets the internet. The goal of this podcast is to solve problems, review topics, and share actionable information that encompasses the professional and personal lives of healthcare professionals and nurses. Please subscribe, download, and listen while we discuss current events, impactful stories, and invaluable lessons from the front lines of healthcare. Look us up on the internet at thechangeofshift.com. You can also find me, Sean Dent, at seandent.com. Would love to hear from you. Drop me a line. Send me a message. Wave hello. Let me know how this thing's working out. Are you still hanging with me? Got some exciting things coming up in the coming weeks and months. Have a couple more interviews lined up that we're going to do on Blab. So stick around. 2016 is going to be fun. And as always, check your own pulse first.